Hello and welcome to Talkin' Baseball. There are new powers arising. Cincy, San Francisco, the Yankees are dead. Let's talk ball. Hello and welcome to Talkin' Baseball, presented to you by SeatGeek. Code Talkin', $20 off your first purchase order. Myself, BBD, and in MC Studios on the left coast, Trevor, Paul, Plouffe. How are you, Trevor?
Not my middle name, no.
It's Patrick, I know.
It is Patrick, thanks.
Yeah.
I'm doing great. I had a great weekend. Most of you know, I celebrated my birthday sometime last week, Thursday, I think it was.
Mid.
And then Father's Day, like a lot of things happened. So we had some barbecues here. And let me tell you something. There's nothing better than like a summer cookout. Kids are running wild, wines flowing, red meat on the grill. I cooked some incredible tri-tip over the weekend. I'm very proud of myself for that. But the real story here, Jake, is this baseball that's going on right now. All these teams who we got to go back to our like over under predictions. I think we got a lot wrong. I don't think we did well this year because a lot of these teams are coming up and surprising us. The Giants are the best team in baseball right now.
Ooh.
They have like a 700 winning percentage over the last month. Like over a 700 winning percentage. It's ridiculous. You just talked about the Reds. I don't know, man. I had a great weekend. I was thinking about ball a lot. I got notes today for the first time, I think, ever on this show, like my own notes. Well, I guess we used to do them all. But I'm fired up. I even went live before the show.
Did you write? Were those handwritten notes?
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm on one today, bro. Look at this.
That's
And there's more pages, and I don't like to type. I'm not a typer.
My handwriting's
you type your notes?
My handwriting's just awful. So yeah, once the society fully went iPhones, laptops, all that, I was kind of, I'm out. Don't get me wrong, I get the concept of it. There's still something there. Wrote a nice letter to Jess's dad before I proposed to her. How about that?
That's nice.
Handwritten.
That's nice. My friend Javi Sanchez used to do that, just would send random handwritten notes out.
Is that sexy agent Javi?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I bet he was writing some handwritten letters. Oh my God.
Well, he's not an agent, but I know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yes. And he is sexy. Got a lot of hot friends. What's up with that?
That guy was sexy.
I went over to Staffords are building a house.
Sure.
So we went and checked it out. It's like mid-construction right now.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Okay.
The biggest house I've ever seen.
I'm, Super Bowl, LA, big contract. I'm happy for the Staffords. But we don't do that here, really.
Oh, yeah.
We don't do that here. Trev, happy Juneteenth. Like it's a national holiday now. We I think we have to be honest with people. It's a new holiday. You do say happy Juneteenth. I did just I told you I wasn't gonna, and then I sad texted Cole Tucker and I was like, me and Trev are asking each other if we say happy Juneteenth, and he says, yes, you can.
Of course you do.
Don't be scared. And I said, okay. So happy Juneteenth.
Fuck yeah.
New federal holiday?
It's newly a federal holiday. Was a holiday.
So a lot of you are probably at home, on a beach somewhere maybe. Kind of the start of summer, man. And what you were saying about the baseball, Trev, I'm going to let out a cuss word pretty early. Or no, I'll say...
We'll just say earmuffs.
What the French toast? Because, dude... More teams are joining the party.
Yeah.
Like, we needed teams to leave the party, and now the Reds are in an 8-game banger. The Giants are the best team in baseball, according to Trevor Plouffe. Going to have our social media team put that one out real quick.
Astros and Dodgers got swept. Let me see those muscles. Give me a flex real quick. I think you look pretty good.
Same with my Yanks. This baggage jersey. Yeah, man. I mean, some of the things that have been traditional power, I think for the first time we're questioning them. Like, it was so early on in the season that it's like, oh, Dodgers, like, who cares that the Diamondbacks are ahead of them? They're the Dodgers. They're going to be fine. Astros, same thing, right? Like, it's Houston, and it's like, I think this was kind of the first, whoa, like, not everybody's getting invited to the dance this year. And I'm not saying it's not one of those big boys, but it's just like, this is chaos, man. And I think we both believe in youth and how valuable it is. So when you see teams like the Reds and all of these teams that are now tapping into that and being successful, it's like, damn. I don't know how this story ends, but I'm excited to write the book with you, Trev.
I think I'm really emotional today because when you just said someone's not getting invited to the dance, I just felt really bad for someone who didn't get invited to a dance.
Yeah, I think we figured
that's a
that
messed
out.
up thing.
Like, I think we've made it cool to, like, go to the dance by yourself or with your guy gang or your girl gang or whatever. I don't know. I think if you want to go
I'm into
the
that.
dance,
I'm into that. Yeah, that's, like, not fair to be, like, left out. I don't like that.
Don't be left out without your bird dogs. It's now become a special day for me when I wear my bird dogs. I get excited because I can do anything. I'm a big, I normally dress kind of like a fool. And that's just being straight up. But when I'm wearing my bird dogs, I can do anything. Like, if I'm going to the gym, done. Happy hour, done. Work, done. Traveling, done. Making love in my bird dogs. They're khaki stretch shorts. Designed to fit slimmer through the thigh. Making you look truly sculpted. It's going to be a fun app. And as I told everyone emotionally, and nobody really cared, they've become my travel shorts, which is really important. Oh, I'm going to Nashville Friday, so I'll be in my bird dogs then. Yeah, Nash Vegas this weekend.
Oh.
So go to birddogs.com/talkin, free Yeti-style tumbler.
I got it.
Your drink will be feeling good, just like your legs.
They say Yeti-style tumbler. It's like exactly like a Yeti, just so everyone knows.
I mean, for them to say Yeti-style, there's got to be...
Interesting, right?
Yeah. So glad you have
Must
that.
be allowed to say that.
Get your legs comfy, get your drink comfy in the Yeti. Thank you, bird dogs.
How do you make love in your bird dogs?
You start in them, and then
It'd be easier to tell you how you don't.
you remove. Yeah, I'll send you.
All
I'll
right.
send you some vids.
I don't want those. I don't want those at all. No thanks.
American League Baseball, Monday, June 19th. And how about this, Cron Pod? The Minnesota Twins. Well, they played the Tigers, and Trev, you've been talking shit ever since your Instagram Live, I'm sure. Oh, Tigers take 3 out of 4 from the Twinkies. How about that? Javi Baez be hitting. How about Kerry Carpenter, Spencer Torkelson be hitting for Los Tigres? Okay, panic button in Minnesota? We'll find out with analyst Trevor Plouffe in 1 minute. The New York Yankees got swept by the Boston Red Sox. We'll check in with analyst Jake Sarielli in 1 minute. The Yankees, and I think the Twins have a little bit of the can't-hit-itis too. Some bad at-bats by the Yankees and some good by the Red Sox. You might even hear some stuff about Trev's Justin Turner later. Brian Bayo gets another good start against the Yankees. Sox sweep, including a doubleheader day, just to twist the knife. The Blue Jays and Rangers, some AL powers linked up. Blue Jays behind Gossman and Danny Jansen. They got the nice 2-1 win, but your Texas Rangers showed fortitude on that second game and even more fortitude in the last game when they were down 6-0. But guess what? They don't have a case of the we don't hit. Everyone is hitting. Seager's going nuts. Leody Tavares is a power hitter now. Josh Young in that thick old neck. The team's different, man. And they take 2 out of 3 from Toronto. The Mariners take 2 out of 3 from the White Sox. Okay, Mariners, seen you win a couple series now. They take the bread games. Brian, woo-woo. 5.22 earnings in that first game. Teoscar He started to go a little bit. Julio Rodriguez with the big 2 RBI double, and Bryce Miller, 7 innings pitched, 1 earned run. I think we traded him last episode. How about Lance Lynn just punching out everyone in the loss? That's pretty crazy. Benintendi goes yard his first of the year. Let's go, kid. Kansas City Royals had a fantastic comeback on Saturday, down 8-2 to the Angels, and they come back. The rookie walks him off. Samad Taylor, sure. Outside of that, it was Angels. They take 2 out of 3 from the Royals. Patrick Sandoval with a big boy start. And on that final game, Trout, Ohtani back-to-back. And, man, when they do that, that's one of those reminders that's like, oh, they have 2 of those. And the Angels sitting pretty. They're going to be a part of the conversation, as that is what happened in the American League. Whew. Dizzy.
It didn't start out like great for you and I right there.
Sure didn't.
No.
Sure didn't.
Okay.
And
Tell us the standings, Big Daddy.
Neither will this for me, and you're still covered. The Rays are 51-24, sure. 5 games up on the Baltimore Birdies. The Yankees, 10.5 back in the East, 3-7 in their last 10. A half game ahead of Toronto, who's in 4th place. And look who's kind of rejoined the party. The Boston Red Sox are 37-35, which means we have perfect AL Central standings again, because the Minnesota Twins are on top of the Central at 36-36. Guard Dogs are 33-38. The Detroit Tigers 30-40. White Sox a half game back. Royals, Texas Rangers 44-27. 4.5 games up on your second place, Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. 3rd place, Houston, Seattle. 504th, Oakland. Ugh. So, yeah, I mean, who had Yankees, Astros, Dodgers, 3rd place on your bingo card coming into this season on June 19th? But ain't that it? So, Trev, we're a Cron pod, and I think it starts out with your first place Twins.
I was doing pre and post for the Brewers series, which is right before this series, and we were talking about the Tigers coming into town. Twins had just swept the Brewers in a 2-game set. Things were looking good, late inning heroics. And on air, I said, this is a series. You got to go out and take 3. Now, I said that for the Twins, not the Tigers. But the Tigers did it, and they just beat the Twins. Twins didn't hit. I mean, that's been that's been the story for the Twins this year. Is like they just haven't hit enough. And even in this one, some of the pitching wasn't great. I thought it was cool to see Sonny Gray going up against Miguel Cabrera for some reason. I just felt like that was like bringing me back a little bit. Some of the guys that I played against a lot, but Sonny didn't have a great start. He gets pulled from the game early, and he's mad at Rocco, and Rocco's doing these things. Not great, but you want your starting pitchers to be fiery. Love that. Joe Ryan didn't have a good start. Louis Varlin gave some homers, but you got to give it to the Tigers, man. They hit with runners in scoring position. Zach Short had a bunch of nice plays and some hits. You mentioned all the guys that were going off for the Tigers. Torkelson's getting really hot. Baez had some nice swings. He took the first game, and this is like typical Javi Baez. He swung at a pitch that was like left-hander's batter's box and somehow pulled it into the left center field gap for a triple. Like just a completely Javi Baez play, swinging at a ball he shouldn't have swung at, barrels it into left center and gets a triple. So that's basically what happened. I don't know. Twins won one game 2-0. So they salvaged. They didn't get swept like your abysmal Yankees. But the Tigers are, they're doing their thing. They can string together some victories if the guys get hot. I had the one question for you, and I don't know the answer yet.
Sure.
Matt Vierling, I think he had 2 homers in the second game, I'm pretty sure. Is he a giant?
Ooh.
Like how big do you think he is? Because I was watching and I'm like, this guy's big. I haven't looked it up yet. So I'm gonna guess. I'm gonna guess he's I'm going to say 6'4", but it wouldn't surprise me if he was taller than that.
Listed 6'3", 205.
Oh, man.
Notre Dame guy, maybe big bones. I don't know.
He just looked big in the box. I guess he's just feeling it, huh?
Well, that's Tigers fans. We haven't been able to sound off with you guys a ton in the history of talking baseball. Sound off with us, because the thing that I think I'm excited about is this. This feels like the first time I've seen like a group of Tiger hitters hitting.
Ooh,
like,
what's a group of Tigers called? A Pride.
Pack?
No,
Pride
that's
month?
Lions. Beavers need you on that one.
Baez been hitting this month. Torkelson, the breakout's kind of happening. And you mentioned Veerling and a couple, Kerry Carpenter, like this, it feels like
even Miggy's been hitting lately.
Feels like the first time I feel like there's, we've seen the Tigers win some series and win some games, but not like a hitting Tigers team. And I'm excited Tigers fans have gotten to see some of that. Beebs?
Yeah, I had to check like a few different websites because I couldn't believe what the answer is. You can call a group of Tigers a streak of Tigers or an ambush of Tigers.
That. A streak or ambush.
I like a streak of Tigers. That's dope.
But apparently Tigers rarely gather in the wild.
How about that?
That's one of the English language's mysteries, like what we call groups of these animals. That doesn't make any sense.
How is it not the same word?
Yeah.
People were
Anyways,
just bored.
that's Twins Tigers. The Tigers take 3 out of 4. Twins. They had in the last game I think it was like 6-2. They get bases loaded. They score a couple, but Gallo strikes out, Buck strikes out. Like that's been their MO is bases loaded. They just haven't got it done as of late, or like all season. So they rallied, but just wasn't enough, and that's it, man. They're figuring things out. It's trying to think of the right words to describe what's going on in Minnesota. They're battling.
Sure are.
They're battling.
Speaking of battling, how about you also might have to reach out to Torkelson. He took out Joe Mauer's like retirement plaque. Did you know this? He hit a foul ball and it hit. There's a plaque honoring Joe Mauer's retired number, and it like. The number, yeah. Yeah.
That's up on the limestone there in left field foul line, yeah. That's not nice of him. But Joe's probably like, it's okay. It's okay.
Joe Mauer reached out on his accord and said it's all right.
Yeah, he did.
It's all right, Spencer. And by the way, you're dropping your elbow a little early. Speaking of mid, like your Twins, the Yankees and the Red Sox teed it up. I talked for an hour, 45 minutes with our friend James last night as we did a Yankees State of the Union and just how lackluster and bad this team is without Aaron Judge and Bader and Rodon and Nestor. But
oh my, it's a sob story, bro. Everyone gets hurt.
Everyone gets hurt.
You have to play through injuries, so
and
stop.
Your replacement player shouldn't be 4 DHs that you're throwing in the outfield. Red Sox.
You guys don't have any real outfielders. It's just like DHs or infielders.
Trev, I know you were teammates with the fella, and I know you've seen me in the warehouse. Me and Willie Calhoun in right field? I don't know. Haven't seen us in the same room.
Willie's never been a defender per se, I don't think. I think with the Dodgers, he was like a second baseman, and he's moved to the outfield.
They find places for him to stand.
What's gotten Jimbo to laugh is we have, on the roster, we currently have one classically trained outfielder that can play the outfield. It's Billy McKinney, by the way.
Yeah, stud.
Yankees legend.
He's been good.
With all of that, Red Sox, hey, they kind of had a gauntlet laid out the last 2 weeks. First 2 Yankees-Red Sox series. Are the Yankees a different team with Judge? Yes. Is that their business? No. Red Sox go 5-1 against the Yanks, including doubleheader, sweep in Fenway. Bayo drops it on the Yanks again. His sinker changeup convo, very nice.
Nasty.
Was also getting umpire had a good low strike zone, and he took advantage of that. And the Yankees stink right now. Yeah, what do you have, Trevor?
I was going to mention Bayo, and he's how long have we heard about this guy? And the results are coming in, which is great. The Red Sox can bang. We knew about that. Yoshida is a freaking stud. I'm going to talk about Turner in a little bit. Speaking of like classically trained outfielders, Duran, that catch he made in center field, that's like, I mean, it looked pretty, but it's not like the prettiest looking play where you're like, oh my gosh. But like, if you really like the technical aspect of making that play,
it's bizarre.
It's probably more impressive than a lot of these highlights you're going to see this year where you kind of like your jaw drops because it's a stupid, I mean, let's just be honest. It's a stupid outfield wall all around in Fenway. You have the pesky pole. You have the tiny little fence where the bullpens are that you could just trip over. It's big
I don't know what you're talking
people,
about, Trev. I think it's Fenway's normal.
No, but like navigating, that's nuts for an outfielder, especially the pyramid. What do they call it? Or the triangle, whatever the hell they call it out there. To be able to stop your momentum. And if people didn't see it, go watch this play. Like he stops his momentum and kind of like goes back along that little side there and little basket catch before he I mean, that is something else. But yeah, they can bang, man.
Red Sox, I think in this 3-game set, I believe they had 21 2-out runs scored, which is kudos to them and damning to the Yankees. And yeah, it's Yanks are rough. Without Judge, they're 8-13 this year. And it feels that way. So, interesting little homestand for them coming up, Seattle and Texas. And yeah, we still don't have like a Judge update. Like he got a second PRP injection in his toe. We will see. Like, I don't know. Yankee fans are kind of guesstimating All-Star break, and if they keep playing like this, I don't know where that lands you. So, go Sox, go. That's what I say. Pain in his voice. Trevor, 2 good teams, Toronto and Texas.
Yeah.
Both start with a T, although one's a city, one's a state. Any argument there?
Yes.
Okay.
No, that's right. You're right. Crush that one. You got it.
Here's what I'll say. I think if you're looking for some tape to believe in these Rangers, turn on the last game. And I don't want it to be shots fired at the Blue Jays because AL East, you could do this any day if you really wanted. They go down. It's a rubber match. 2 good teams. Middle of June. Let's go win a series. Blue Jays come out. They go up 6-0. They're walking tall. They're feeling good. Snap your fingers. It's gone.
Yeah.
Seager, Tavares, Heim, like Zeke Duran with a 4-hit day. That's why this Texas Rangers team is special. And they showed it in that final game because they're so deep and sneaky to also have a comeback like that. Your bullpen has to be really good. And I think 6 2/3 of 1-run ball from their relievers has them come back and win this series.
Yeah, it's these are 2 good teams. The Blue Jays are an interesting team to me because every time I watch them, I'm like, oh, they're a really good team, but they're still kind of like mired in that AL East. I love Bo Bichette so much. First game, Gausman has a great start, and the Blue Jays, your guy, say his name, Jansen.
Danny Jansen.
Yeah, there's only the runs were all homers. It was Tavares, then Danny Jansen hits a 2-run shot, and the Blue Jays pitching takes care of the rest. Great victory. Same thing kind of the next day for the Rangers. All their runs came on homers, I believe. Then the rubber match, like you're saying, 6-0, and then they scored 3 runs in the 4th, 3 runs in the 5th, 3 runs in the 7th, while their bullpen's holding it down. And that's kind of, that's why they've been able to be so successful, being able to put up crooked numbers. And then, like, I don't know if the bullpen's, it's not always going to lock down that way, but it did this series. And, you win 2 out of 3, and that's how you're in first place. Like, the ability to put up big innings is something that not every team possesses. Now, you might do it every once in a while, but for the Rangers, I feel like it's a pretty frequent occurrence because they just have guys that can drive the ball, and they just have a solid, deep lineup. But definitely a very nice series for the Rangers, because you're right. I mean, you get down 6-0 in the last game, and you could just pack it up and say whatever, but they know they can score with the best of them.
I mentioned Leody Taveras a couple times. Go check out his stats. 853 OPS, 24-year-old outfielder, getting some run. And I know people already know, but you also may not know, Corey Seager is going ballistic in 40 games this year, because remember, he missed a little bit of time. 40 games, 363 batting average, a 420 on base, and a 1.076 OPS. He is going mental, and when they got off to that hot start, there wasn't a ton of Corey Seager in there, and now he is, and that goes with the Himes, and that goes with Lowe, and that goes with Duran, and they're just top to bottom. They're really good, man.
Heim hit a freaking towering, I think it was like a 38-degree launch angled homer, just like one of those moon shots.
Sure.
Sexy. He leaned back on it too. How are you in first place, Rangers? You are first in runs scored. That's good. First in OBP. That's good. And then your starters are fourth in WHIP, and your bullpen, the ERA, not great. Doesn't matter. Your WHIP, fifth overall in WHIP. That's what I look at in bullpens. Traffic on the base pass. They're a problem, man. And their uniforms, they fucking rolled out 3 beautiful uniforms in this series. The baby blues, the City Connects, and I believe they had the Reggies on as well. So it's
wow,
they're kind of firing at all cylinders. They have a new stadium.
Yeah.
They're the belle of the ball.
Bruce Bochy. Trev, it's I know we've done it all year, and we'll do it more all year. Seattle, it's 500. Houston, the Angels, Texas. There's 4 teams there. Boston is now 2 games above 500. 9 teams. 9 teams that have playoff aspirations that I don't know. You wonder about those 2 pivot weeks leading up to the deadline. And I just don't know. I know Texas is really good. Toronto is also really good, but they're mired up in the East. But I tell you what, the time to go is now. Get some ground, get ahead of the Yankees by head and shoulders, because without Judge, that team is not a playoff team. It's not a 500 team.
No, they're really bad. Next 2 series we'll kind of go over quickly. White Sox, Mariners, both franchises, fan bases keep asking me to pronounce them dead. Interesting. You can't pronounce both. You're dead. Somebody's got to be alive in this series. Mariners take 2 out of 3. The one game the White Sox win, I thought this was cool. This guy, Zach Remillard, debuts, goes 3 for 3 with a walk, has the go-ahead knock. He thinks the big leagues is super freaking easy, and he's like, why haven't I been here before? It's taken me this long to get here. I'm a raker. Put me in the All-Star game. He goes 0 for 4 the next day. No big deal. Yeah. A beautiful debut for him. And then I guess it was the rubber match.
Yeah.
Lance Lynn K's 16 Mariners.
Yeah.
In 7 innings, 16 of them. And they lose 5-1. It's interesting, man.
Yeah, that
I guess that's what happens when you go up against Bryce Miller, who's he had a couple rough starts, or 1 rough start, maybe 2, but he's back to doing historic things on the mound again. 7 innings pitched, 1 earned run, only 4 hits.
Yeah, how funny. Yeah, that last game, I mean, that's some Mariners White Sox action right there. Lance Lynn punching 16 tickets in the loss. Julio's double, Kelnick with some ribbies there too. Yeah, I mean that's That series doesn't do too much for me. Happy for Big Lance Lynn. Happy for Mariners fans. They've won a couple series now. It's that time. Big June. And speaking of Big Junes, one of the best teams in baseball this June has been the Los Angeles Angels. They take 2 out of 3. They just missed the sweep. They blow that second game. And hey, good for Kansas City. Like, things have gotten tough, and I was texting Big Vinny P this weekend, and he's rehab. He sent a picture of the pool. He's like, I'm going to be here the next 6 months or so, and playing some MLB The Show. He wants to do some content, maybe a midweek while Jom's doing baby stuff. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Bobby Witt goes and gets the ball that Samad Taylor hit in the outfield. That's fun. So there's your talking Royals. Outside of that, Trev, I'll tell you what. I know we talk Ohtani and Judge ad nauseum, and we both end up frustrated with each other when we do. Shohei Ohtani has been the best hitter in baseball this month. That's before getting to the pitching stuff, obviously. And then watching him and Trout homer back-to-back off of Zach Greinke, and Ohtani's like waving goodbye to the ball. It was one of those, I don't know. I tilted my head. I was like, damn. Like, how much the Yankees are missing their big guy. The Angels have 2 big guys. As long as they're on the field, like, you basically have a threat of a 2-homer, 5 RBI day from 2 players on any given day. And they're good. And I think it's their best Angels record since 2015 or something. Like, some good stuff in the water.
No, the starters had a great series here. Patty Sandoval, 7 innings pitched, no Ernies. Nice. What I'll say about Shohei is, and I took this from somebody online. I think they tweeted it at me. Ever since the WBC, when he's won, he's like, they think he's entering like a villain phase. Not a villain phase, but like feeling myself like I'm the best phase.
I can win Japan,
which I like.
I can win Japan, the WBC. Hell, I could even take the Los Angeles Angels to the playoffs. I like that.
Yeah, and he's like, he's like showboating a little bit, which is awesome. Like, why wouldn't you? You're the best player that's ever lived. It's how I feel when I step on the blitzball floor. The best blitzball player that's ever lived. That's why I do some silly stuff. Me and Shohei are, now that I think about it, kind of similar. Brandon Drury, excellent series for him. That's the difference with the Angels this year compared to years past is like I'm not going to call them role players, but, up and down the lineup, they're getting contributions from guys, and it's not so top heavy. Now, what's up with Neto? I know he's on the IL. When does he come back? I have to look that up.
I'd ask you. You're my Neto source.
I love him. I know. Hopefully he's back soon. And then, yeah, that's like having guys like Drury, having guys like Moniak doing their thing. The bullpen's been good. Whether they blew that second game, whatever, not a big deal. This is a fun team to watch. And like when they're getting their pitchers have it in them, their starters, like to like Detmers when he's on can be really good and like can like shut you down. And Sandoval the same way. And like you mentioned the offense and what they can do. It's fun. I want to see them in the playoffs, obviously. And they are right now.
Whoever ends up in these 3-game playoffs, like, I don't know. The Halos aren't a team you sign up to play. Like, you're going to get Shohei. If Sandoval fully turns it around.
No, he
did in this start. Like, I don't know, man. And Trev, you mentioned the other guys, and good, because that is part of what's making the Angels different this year. I'll come back again with more Shohei Ohtani, because in 17 games in the month of June, he has 9 homers. He has a 1.439 OPS in basically 2/3 of the month. The WAR is up to 5 on the year. Career sneaking up.
That's insane.
Sneaking up to 30 WAR in his career, by the way. He's 28. Homers in 4 of the last 5 games. The guy is a Freak show. He's leading the AL in home runs and RBI. OPS plus, total bases. We could do it every episode if we wanted, and guess what? If you're a baseball fan, you still click it because it's what it comes back to. It's not like he's just good at stuff. He's arguably the best. Exit velo, strikeouts. Like, I don't know. I like the way you said it's obviously not pure villain, but just like I'm that dude.
Yes. Villain's not the right word. It's he's just real. I mean, he's obviously known he's the best.
Right.
But he's just showing it a little bit on the field.
But there's a little bit too, we talked about it with the WBC. Like, getting that done was a massive thing for him. That was his lifelong dream that once this guy realizes he can do anything, well, he's doing it.
He's like also thinking, I'm about to get paid $60 million a year. Like, that, if that doesn't give you a little bit of confidence and juice and swagger, I don't know what will, man.
God.
Last thing on this series, and we need to get going because we always do this, man. We just go on. Samad Taylor.
Why are you saying it?
Family in the suite on his debut? Is that like a Royals thing? Do they just got it like that? What's up? It's nice.
I have no clue, Trevor.
Good for him, by the way. And Bobby Witt running after the ball is a pretty funny visual. And he like held it up. He was so happy. It was like very much like a joyous moment.
When you're not winning a lot, enjoy the wins. Enjoy the wins. Let's talk some National League baseball. The National League is brought to you by Blue Moon, because Blue Moon beer was brewed in the National League. I'll be honest with you. Had a couple Blue Moons yesterday during Talkin Yanks. Kind of getting in my feelings with Blue Moon and baseball. And you can get your Blue Moon on. Visit get.bluemoonbeer.com/baseball. Find your Blue Moon delivery options, because nothing really goes better together than Blue Moon and beer. Get that Valencia orange peel. Be the difference maker. Be the difference maker. Get.bluemoonbeer.com/baseball. Celebrate responsibly. There's a link in the description. I'm Blue Mooning all summer. I'm a Blue Moon guy.
Think about how refreshing that sounds. Like right now, I want a Valencia orange on the rim of a glass, a cold glass with a nice pour of Blue Moon. Yum.
Sold.
I think you can have it for breakfast. I think there's nutritional value to having a Blue Moon with a Valencia orange for breakfast.
You can.
Mention some fruit.
Yeah.
I think we're in the clear.
One of the food groups. Let's do some NL. We're starting with the Farm to Fame Bowl. Kelsey Wingert's Rocks against Peter Moylan's Braves. And the Braves swept them. And they dominated them. I mean, big time. We're talking the second biggest win differential in a Braves 4-game set ever. Name a guy on the Braves. Michael Harris, too. He had a 5-hit day. Arcia, 3-hit day. Homer, stolen base. Sure. Eddie Rosario, Albies, Olsen, Murphy. Hell, Kevin Pillar put in some work at the office. Oh, I didn't even mention Travis d'Arnaud's 2-homer day. My goodness. Malibu Mike, hot. Rockies get swept in 4. Speaking of sweeps, the San Francisco Giants sweep the Los Angeles Dodgers and jump them. They go into second place. The Dodgers go into third. Dodgers fans are screaming about their pitching, even though Emmett Sheehan, how's your MLB debut? Drop it on the table with that baby blonde hair. The San Francisco Giants, Gabe Kapler, Lamont Wade Jr., J.D. Davis, pinch hit grand salami, and Trev, the one that really had him shaking. Giants win 15-0 in that middle game. And then Logan Webb does Logan Webb things. No Catter Day for me, please. Giants sweep. And Dodgers, asking questions for the first time in a while. These two fan bases are asking questions. Cardinals and the Mets. Cardinals end up taking 2 out of 3 as they take the final 2 games, including a dramatic last game. Nolan Arenado leans into one, his second of the day, and what would be a game winner. I don't know, man. I mean, these two teams are great. Tommy Pham is putting in that work. Your boy, Tommy Pham. I know you guys share a lot. Wayno gives a start. Pete Alonso, fast healer alert. We'll talk about it, I guess, but weird vibes both ways. Hey, Milwaukee Brewers sweep the Pirates. How about that? The Brew Crew take command of the NL Central. 5-4 in the first game. Wade Miley, Talkin baseball favorite, comes back. 5 shut-piece. Joey Weimer with a couple home runs on the all-white annoying voice guy team that I put out. Yelich has been killing it. Your guy, Trev. If you can butter knife his stats, pretty good that he's been playing good ball. Pirates get swept. There's a little bit of hope for them, though. They're calling up their top prospect, Henry Davis, catcher, Louisville. How about that? And the Marlins, they sweep the Nats because the Marlins kind of do that. Go check out the record, man. Fish with arms. Our guy Dalton Feely is putting Braxton Garrett in his Instagram story because he needs to be talked about more. Yes, 6 innings, 1 earned run. Luis Arraez with a 5-hit day at the office. Baby Jesus. Marlins, man. They, again, it hasn't been a murderer's row, but they've got some stuff going on in their bullpen that's fun right now. And Trev, that's what's going on in the National League, Papo.
Great job there. Before you get to the standings, I'm on Baseball Reference's homepage. You know I like to play the game. Can I name all these guys? Well, right here I got who's the manager for the Marlins now?
You tell me.
Oh my
Skip
gosh.
Schumacher?
Yes. Skip Schumacher, Sonny Gray, Jed Lowry. So I got 3, which is nice. And then there's this one guy, no baseball hat. He's from the fucking 1500s. You know how they're putting those guys up there a lot. He's got a tie on. Clicked his name. Dick McBride. Let's see how good he was before we start this up. Oh, shit. Pitched to a 2.71, 29.6 career WAR, 149 victories.
More WAR
2,000 innings pitched.
Shout out to Dick.
He died in 1916. He's buried at the Longview Cemetery in Rockledge, Pennsylvania, if you're want to go visit.
Road trip.
Played 6 seasons, 2000.
How about this? He was a pitcher and right fielder.
Yeah.
You said he pitched 6
he
seasons and has 2,000 innings? No, but it says throws right, bats unknown.
We don't even know which way Dick McBride was swinging the stick.
He threw 538 innings in 1875. How do we know this stuff? There's no way.
How do we
this
have
is
that,
real.
but
It's
not?
all
How do we
fake.
have that, but don't know how he batted?
I'm putting myself in the simulation.
Bro, we know like his FIP.
Born in Philly, died in Philly.
He only walked in 538 innings. He only walked 24 people.
No need.
Pitch to contact.
He only struck out 27.
1.64 ERA. Oh, that 500.
This is not real.
That 538 inning season. That's a grind.
He started 60 games.
It's a grind, man. Shout out Dick McBride wearing a bow tie, mutton chops.
Those 24 walks led the league.
Is that best?
I
worse?
Believe
in theory that would be worse.
That's just the raw number. So I think that means he walked the most people.
Enough, Dick McBride.
Strikes shortened.
The Atlanta. He's not a real person.
He's fake. The Atlanta Braves are 46-26. 6-game win streak. The only positive run differential in that NL beast. The Marlins Winners of 4 straight, 41-31. A team we haven't gotten to yet. The Phillies are on a 6-game win streak. You hear about them in the aisle. The Mets, oh my, 33-38. Nats, yeah. Milwaukee on top of the Central, 37-34. A half-game lead on the Cincinnati Reds, America's team. They are 2 games ahead of Pittsburgh, who are 2 games below 500. A game and a half back of them. The Chicago Cubs, same record as the Mets, funny enough. Cardinals, 29-43. Snakes, 43-29, atop the NL West. And the Snakes are going to make everyone else just mix it up below them. Giants move into second place, a half game up with the Dodgers. San Diego. Half game under 500. Half game? What? And Colorado Rockies are bad. Trevor, National League. Let's hit this one quick and just taste the Braves as much as possible because they put on a shellacking.
40 runs in 4 games. I think I did the math right.
Okay.
8 plus 8 is 16. Plus 10 is 26. Plus 14 is 40.
Easy. Math pod.
Nailed it.
Yep.
40 runs in 4 games is going to get you a sweep. Colorado. Ain't it? Got some guys I like on that team. I like watching Nolan Jones hit. That's for dang sure. And McMahon's done really well. He's been really good defensively too. But enough about them. The Braves rake. They rake. They absolutely rake. This team is a menace. What else is there to say? I mean, we don't have to go into a Colorado sweep. 4-game set. Sweeping it is nice. We always say that. If you can sweep 4 games, it's hard to do that, even against a Rockies team who you're clearly better than. But this one, just the offense was on fire. Like every single person that played in this series went off. And that's a good feeling to have as a team.
At one point, the Braves had 3 straight rookie starters. They won all of those games before getting to the Salt Man, Charlie Morton. Bryce Elder, 6-inning, 1 earn again. He doesn't stop. And the offense, the numbers are video game stuff. That Ozzie Albies was hitting .418 against lefties at one point in this series. They're wagging. And when Eddie Rosario's homering twice for them, again, a bonus peep. Michael Harris, too, who had one of the worst month and a halves you can have, 2 months almost. Now he has a 5-hit day. He's starting to turn things around. They roll. That was tough. The DFAing of Charlie Culberson right before the Father's Day first pitch that his father was going to throw at the game. Don't love that for the vibes.
Yeah, I get it.
But that's
tough.
baseball.
Charlie Culberson, hot.
Yeah. That's probably hot. Career.
They are the second best offense in the league next to the Rangers. They're second in average, second in OBP. They do have highest OPS because they hit a ton of homers. They lead the league in homers. They're a wagon. Do you say that? Who says the wagon?
I think Carabas really leaned into that at first.
Okay.
I'll give him that.
People say that you and Carabas look alike.
Sexual.
He just has a beard. Yeah.
Yeah. Take away his beard. No tattoos.
Oh yeah,
all this cool stuff.
Same exact hammer. That's the surprising part.
You guys have shown each other.
Michael Talkin, your boy, first career save, Trev.
I'm happy for him, man.
We love the Talkin truck.
We talk about Jason Kubel's brother-in-law. Love that.
Can we talk about your best team in baseball, the San Francisco Giants?
Yes. What do you want to talk about?
They go in. They face the Los Angeles Dodgers, who have been the big bad wolf of that division essentially for the past 7 years or something like that. And in what is an important June, I changed my tune a little bit at the start of the month, just looking at all of these teams and what are we doing here? The Giants, as of a week ago, were 500, 32-32. They just lost to the Cubs. They go and they sweep St. Louis. They sweep the Dodgers, and they sweep the Dodgers in impressive fashion, Trev. They called up top prospect Luis Matos. The guys that are really good that we kind of got numb to, like Logan Webb, dude, some of his like quality start type numbers are crazy. He just gives it pretty much every time he's out there. And your Giants, and I'll give you credit, Trev, because I wasn't fully bought in. You were buying when some people were still selling. They are sitting pretty second in the NL West.
This is a great series for them. Sheehan, who is the guy you're talking about, the baby blonde hair. What does that even mean?
I mean, you saw his hair, right? Like it looks like
but
a baby
blonde.
hair.
That's not a thing.
Not the color, like the texture.
Was like a baby?
Kinda.
Have you ever seen a baby?
I've seen babies.
Okay.
I've seen babies.
I question that. Great debut for him. The Dodgers need that. They've been able to have their guys come up and perform well for the most part, although Bobby Miller did get lit up in that second game. 15-0 game 2, but the first game was a very impressive victory, and it probably set up that second game because they were down 4-0. They take the lead after Sheehan gets out, but then Freddie Freeman ties it against Camilo Doval, just a little bloop piece. Yeah. Then they go into extra innings and they go up. And all-time weird Dodgers base running play.
Yeah.
They drop a Mookie Betts fly ball in the infield. Giants zoo it. They throw it over the first baseman's head. Mookie's trying to get to third. This Michael Busch is like going to go home, but then he stops for some reason. They end up getting them in a rundown and just completely kill the Dodgers rally. When you lose a game and have a play like that at the end of it, and you're just like scratching your head, like, what? We were up 4-0. Then we were gonna, like, Freeman ties it up, vibes are good. Then you have something like that happen. It's fucked. Excuse my language. Roll into the next day, get beat bad, and then you have to face Logan Webb, who's been dominant. I almost gave him my award today, but I'm not going to. But there were some really good quotes. He's just been quality start after quality start after quality start, and being an innings eater, which is what you want out of your ace. Gabe Kapler, that's what a horse does. That's a great quote. And it's true. You got to have a guy that goes there, can save your bullpen, go pitch deep into games. And that's one thing that's helped the Giants over this stretch, where I think did you read it off? They have over 700 winning percentage in the last calendar month or whatever. The bullpen, Gabe said, has just been incredible. He has trust in every single person down there, and he's like, I couldn't say that early on in the season, and they've been incredible as of late. And the impressive thing, I guess, is how you put it, is they haven't had like their starters really, like they've only had like 3 starters, sometimes 4 starters. They've been piecing together those like the 4th and 5th days a lot, like kind of guys making spot starts or openers or whatever. And they've just been able to sustain this pace in doing that. And that's not something you would typically see in the big leagues. When you're running out guys and you have your starters injured and you're trying to piece it together, that's usually you take L's on those days. They just haven't been because the bullpen's been so good. And they've been hitting. They be hitting, bro. Late night Lamont's doing it. Like did Flaherty, like him and Flaherty dusted it up a little bit and got late night fired up, and he carried it over into this series. They're an impressive team right now, man.
They lineup dynamics are an interesting thing to me. I think, if you've ever played an opposing team and you're like, that there can be a hitter on a team that if they're hitting 5th, you're like, oh, that guy's hitting 5th for that team. I don't know. But if that same hitter's hitting 8th, you're like, damn, that's kind of like a deep lineup. Right now, and Giants fans sound off and let me know, but right now it says at the bottom of the lineup, they're mixing it up with Matos and Brandon Crawford down there. I love that. Like the old man in the sea down there. And by the way, he had a couple good games. The kid, 21-year-old top prospect, Luis Matos. Like that's a fun lineup dynamic. And I mean, they're just the Giants. Things feel interchangeable. And when it's working, it's a beautiful thing. And they are now back in the mix, 60% chance to make the playoffs. And like we've done in the AL, like we'll do all year, some teams going to end up, 2 or 3 teams are going to end up really hurt that in this expanded dance playoff formula, they're not getting invited. And maybe that pivots us over to the Dodgers, Trev, because their fans, they've been tweeting, DMing us, and rip into the pitching. This isn't your Dodgers team you're familiar with. Second highest bullpen ERA.
The bullpen's been brutal for them.
Bullpen batting average against. It's easy for us to say, like, these are the Dodgers, they'll go. And, at the same time, when Max Muncy just went to the IL. Gavin Lux now out for the season, or was out for the season before the season. Walker Buehler, Dustin May, Urias, Syndergaard. Like, that's a pitching staff that's now on the IL. And that's before you get to Daniel Hudson and Blake Trinan and Fire Eyes. And, like, they've got the injury bug pretty good. And it just feels like the West has kind of caught up a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely can point to the injuries because it is a long list, especially on the pitching side. And that's where they've been hurt. But they've had guys come up and have success, and You can't write the Dodgers off. I think we're going to continuously say that. I think losing JT, or not losing him, just like letting him walk, there's some stuff there, I think. Okay. The vibes seem okay, though. I'm not in the clubhouse, but we watch them play. Like, there's no, like they're doing the right thing. Stupid base running that I mentioned before, but everything else seems right. They just have to address the bullpen and get healthy. Can they do that? Yeah. But a lot of teams are going to be on that train come the trade deadline as well. Like, a lot of people are going to be going after these bullpen arms, and it's never a sure thing when you have a bullpen piece, because it is such a fluid part of a baseball roster. But I think these other teams are catching up. It's a good way to put it. What we see a lot, I think, around baseball now, more so than ever this year, because of some of the new rules. It's like, if you're young and athletic, like, you're going to be good. Like, think about the teams that are at the top of the division. Like, Diamondbacks take the extra base, can run, put pressure on you. The Rays do that insanely well. The Reds, those guys can run. McClain, their shortstop, like, he's beating balls out to, we're talking about these guys later. Ellie De La Cruz beat out a ball to the fucking first base. He had a ground ball to first base and beat it out. Like, teams that can run and are athletic, like, that's kind of like, you've always wanted that on a baseball field, but it seems like it's been emphasized more this year. And I don't know if you can really say that about the Dodgers.
Yeah, athleticism definitely became second, third fiddle for a while when we went, home runs, on base percentage, 3 true outcomes. And now, as things are shifting back, and that's where, again, like, I don't think our Dodger concern level is too raised for now, but it's okay. Like, they're going to be in a little bit of a dogfight this year. There was a little bit there where it was like, oh, they're going to run away because they have Freddie Freeman and Mookie Betts and they fixed JD, and, like, no.
They're fourth in runs scored.
Right. Like, the offense is not the problem.
Yeah.
I wonder.
It's the bully.
It's like you mentioned, Emmett Sheehan has the nice start, little Fordham Prep kid. That if guys start getting healthy and some of the youth is there, does that become a beautiful thing? I don't know. I'll tell you 2 places that haven't been beautiful: St. Louis Cardinals and the New York Mets. Yeah, same reaction, Trev. I'm talking. My standout is actually from this, so I'll get there, but I don't know. Mid is complementary to these teams.
Both of them still, to me, and this is just, I don't know, man. Maybe I've lost my touch, my feel. I still feel like these teams could turn it around at any moment, but maybe I'm just wrong on that. Maybe I'm just flat out wrong. The stuff that's going on with the Cardinals, like, they have some like real like clubhouse issues still. I'm happy, Arenado's doing his thing in this series. It's great, like they can still play ball. Like they still have really good players on both these teams, right? But like that's not enough sometimes. And I know like they've they needed some pitching and things like that, but the defense, I think, for the Cardinals is the weirdest thing to me. Like, how do you go from a powerhouse defensive team, run the same guys back?
Right.
We're not changing anything. And you're like the worst team defensively. And like, it's like the positioning is bad. Are they going to fix that? Can they fix that? Like that, because we talk about the pitching, right? And we're like, oh yeah, they just haven't really got it done. I don't know what their ranks are. I just know it's not great. Defense can help that a lot.
Right.
And they just haven't been able to do that. And you think about who's on the roster. These guys can play D, so it's all positioning. How does that make sense? It doesn't.
It doesn't.
To answer my question.
It doesn't. And the Mets,
like let the boys figure it out. Like I feel like that's an issue that can be solved pretty quickly when you have the personnel on the field like the Cardinals have. Like let them go play ball. There's some ball players out there. Like we're trying to do too much with this positioning, and it's not working. So I don't know, man.
Quick healer.
Alonzo.
Quick healer.
I'm happy you brought that up.
Yeah.
That's one of our favorite things on this show is when a guy is a quick healer. I'm a quick healer too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a brutally slow healer. I mean, something very routine could keep me out.
You stay bruised forever.
I do.
Oh, you're a bruiser, huh? That's tough.
Bruise.
I think. What does that mean? That you need iron?
I think it's low iron, small pecker. I don't know. Brewers sweep Pittsburgh. I don't know,
Good
dude.
for that. That's hot.
Is it?
Yes.
Okay.
Pittsburgh's interesting, man. I mean, they what's the standings there?
Milwaukee is in top of the division, 37-34, a half game up on the Reds.
Yeah, above the Reds.
Pirates are now 2 games below 500. They are calling up.
I don't know if you know this, but Milwaukee was behind Pittsburgh
Yeah.
entering this series, and they left ahead of Pittsburgh. It's hot. They swept them. Happy. Yelich does look really good.
Joey Weimer, significant after an 0 for 19. Hits a couple homers.
The Pirates are bringing up Henry Davis. We've heard about this guy for a long time, but apparently might be playing right field.
They're keeping the other 2 catchers, so yeah, I'm gonna be interested to see how they navigate that because McCutchen, all JM team. I know he was playing a lot of DH, so can he play outfield? Can Davis play outfield? Do you get in a little catcher rotation? You should have a nice little game plan from what when the Orioles called up Adley Rutschman. I think he was going catcher DH at first because they didn't want to overwhelm him on both sides of the ball. So I don't know. Seems copy and paste that because it worked for that guy.
Yeah. I'm going to talk about the catching position a little later. Okay. FYI.
That's
but
exciting.
No snaps for the Brew Crew. I think this NL Central race is going to be fascinating. The same thing with the AL Central race. It might not be the best baseball play, but it's going to be coming down to the wire, and it's who's going to get hot at the right time, I believe. But the Brewers could easily just run away with this division.
Christian Yelich putting together a nice year. He yells into the mic. What's that?
He always confident. I got a chance to hang out with him a little bit, talk to him pregame on the field. He's in a good headspace, which is good. That's good for Cardinals or for Brewers fans, excuse me. Bad for Cardinals fans.
That is bad.
What they really didn't want to hear.
That is bad news for Cardinals fans. Yeah, since May, Yelly's 304, 401, 500 sluggling. Oh my God. Oh my God. Just take me out back. Go Brewers, go. Go Yelly, go. Go Marlins, Trev. What?
Yeah.
Everyone pitches. Arise hits. Soler.
Not everyone doesn't pitch. I don't know what's going on with Sandy. I need Marlins fans to talk about this.
Joey Wendell 2 for 4 with a double. Oh.
I need to know what's going on with Sandy. The overall numbers are just not good. He's pitching to basically a 5, a 4.97. He's 2-5 on the year. Does that matter? Not really.
He was supposed to be a shift regression guy. I don't know how much of it was that. I don't know if there's fatigue. I guess Fish fans let us know.
What's the FIP at?
Show me that FIP.
All right, it's up. It ain't looking too good right now. He's allowing more hits. Walks are right on there. Strikeouts are right on there.
Braxton
Not
Garrett.
going deep into games. Okay.
Dalton said we had to talk Braxton Garrett. 7 starts, his last 7. 2.13 ERA, 49 strikeouts in 32 innings. Dominant stuff. And yeah, he had 1 blow-up game, and if you take that out, his numbers on the year are incredible. That, again, that's, Yuri Perez gets called up, and, here's a bonus piece for you. He's been incredible. He got my last award. Luzardo.
Yeah.
Like you said, Sandy has not been Sandy, and Edward Cabrera just goes on the IL. They've been without Cueto. They've been without Trevor Rogers. People wondered if Max Meyer would get in the mix for this team at some point. But yeah, man, the pitching, there's guys, and some of the batting stats, I don't know, 9th in batting average. You got
one guy hitting 400.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, I take it back.
They're 25th in runs. I don't know. Is it a sustainable brand of baseball so far?
And I mean, their record is where their record is at. I don't know if they can get to the deadline and sell, and they don't want to.
Yeah, why would they sell?
They won't, but that's what I'm saying. Like, Trev, nobody is at this point.
There's some sellers out there. Cardinals, sellers. Cubs, sellers.
Think so?
Yeah. White Sox, sellers. Yeah. Nationals. I don't know.
5.5 games back of first place, White Sox.
18-5 in 1-run games for the Marlins. I mean, we got to mention that.
Negative run differential. It's crazy, but I'm happy for
16-5 in Interleague. They own the AL. Are you kidding me?
Jeter never should have left. Jeter actually built this team.
3-0 against the Royals. 3-0 against the Angels. 2-1 against the Minnesota Mids.
Oh, don't do that.
White Sox 2-1. Okay, so it's basically been against the AL Central.
Let's do some IL baseball, Trev. The IL is brought to you by the Talkin Baseball YouTube. Subscribe. We're close to 100K. We need another 100K plaque in the office. If you're listening to this, wherever you listen, go subscribe to the YouTube. And buy a shirt too from the store.
If we get to 100,000 followers on our YouTube, Jake will do a photo shoot with Jared Carabas naked.
It's fun. I was going to volunteer you for something, so I'm glad you volunteered me. Make sure you're subscribed. Buy 10 shirts. Let's do some interleague play. And in that interleague, the best team in baseball, the Tampa Bay Rays, they went to beautiful San Diego. And the Padres take 2 out of 3 after dropping the first one on a McClanahan day. Randy does his thing. Luke Riley, sure. Blake Snell, might hear about him later. 6 innings, 12 Ks, 0 runs. And then in the final game, Joe Musgrove does it. Trek Grisham contributes, and that last game was crazy. Tatis is throwing people out from right field. Tatis is running around the bases like it's a Little League game. And the Padres win, and they win the series Blake Snell against his old team. How do you like that? Padres win 2 out of 3. Dbacks. My Snakes take 2 out of 3 from Chris Rose's guard dog Zach Gallen day. 7 innings, 1 earned run. Scheduled tweet there. Christian Walker has a big series. Corbin Carroll does it. Big homer inning. Jake McCarthy wearing that sexy Snakes leather jacket that I will wear one day. Guardians, they put a bunch of crooked numbers on that final day. Josh Naylor putting together what's now a nice season. Will Brennan, Freeman, they get involved in that. Bo Naylor, the Naylor Bros. They're both playing in that last game. That's fun. Trev, the hottest team in baseball, IMO. The Cincinnati Reds, they sweep the Houston Astros. Here's Andrew Abbott just refusing to give up runs. Why not? Here's Hunter Green on the second day, pumping cheddar, and meanwhile, while they're doing their thing, Ellie De La Cruz, you mentioned him. Spencer Steers, a kid, homer. Stevenson, McLean, Will Benson's been going nuts ever since that pimp job homer. All he does is get on base. They sweep the Houston Astros, and the Reds are really in the mix in that NL Central, where the Chicago Cubs played. They took 2 out of 3 from the Baltimore Orioles. 33-38 Cubs. Watch out. They won the first 2 games. Fine. Justin Steele, who's back out there. We like to see that. Nico makes me Horner. He has a couple big games. Orioles, they win that last game. Ryan O'Hearn's been killing it for them, along with old friend Aaron Hicks. How do you like that? Phillies, they sweep Oakland. The Phillies have an argument for one of the hottest teams in baseball. They're back sitting pretty. And they're doing it behind the guys you like to see do it for them. Kyle Schwarber is a freak show in the month of June. Homered in the first pitch he saw at the Coliseum is the last ballpark he played in. First pitch, get that out of here. Taijuan Walker, 8 innings, 1 earned run. That's significant. And the Phillies are hot, hot, hot. And that is what happened in the International League.
I feel like that happened quickly. You just crushed that, bro.
Let's get through the IL standings. Trev.
Love that. My favorite joke of the episode. You stole it from me.
Padres, Rays. What do you have? I hint my award is coming from this series. That last game was crazy, watching the highlights and watching some of it live. The throw from Tatis, the pick by Nola, the tag. Tatis running the bases.
Running.
They win a big series. And Padres, again, think about all of the teams we've talked about. We just gave the Giants some more love. Snakes been on top of that division. Padres, again, the Padres. They paid everyone. They're starting to win a couple series, and they're going to be... They ain't selling, Pop.
No. They can't sell. All those guys are locked up for 30 years. This is a good team that will get... The cream will rise to the top.
Ooh.
It will. I like that saying. I do. Do you know how you churn butter? You just do cream and you just churn it. That's weird to me. I'm sorry I went there. Tatis has been incredible. And we talked about how do you rid yourself of a steroid suspension? Well, you just come back and go off, and that's what he's done.
Go look at his
he's basically
page.
Yeah, he's mirroring he's actually under his. He has a 912 OPS right now, and he's under his career number, which will tell you something about this guy and how good of a player he is. And a lot of that WAR, he's got 3.4 baseball reference WAR. A lot of it is defensive. He's added that element to this game. As a shortstop, not great. You put him in the outfield, he's turned into a premier defender, maybe even the best right fielder defensively in baseball. He is. This guy is going to be around for so long, playing incredible baseball for so long. And this is, I guess everyone saw it coming because you watch him play. The suspension it pisses me off so much still. And whether it was what he said or not, doesn't matter. But you come back and you play like this, people are just going to absolutely forget about it. This guy's a stud. He's an absolute stud. And he him going like this, I mean, if that doesn't motivate you, if you're on the roster of the Padres and you see him doing what he's doing, if that doesn't motivate you to show up to the yard and try to match that every single day, then what are you doing playing ball in the first place? Like, this guy's setting the tone.
Padres are, what are they? 10-6 in June. Okay. And yeah, man,
hold on one sec. You keep going.
If you haven't seen the play, go look at Fernando Tatis running the bases. You just don't see it on a major league field. He steals second. The ball squirts away from Wander Franco. Franco gives it a light jog to get the ball, but he knows that Tatis is a sicko, so he's trying to bait him into going for home because Wander's like, yeah, do it, Fernando. I'd love to throw you out at home. I'll take that out. Tatis sees him, can't believe that Wander would dare do that to him. And guess what? Tatis was too quick. And you just don't see that on the field. And when you get to Tatis's skills, his speed may be his third most impressive skill behind his power, and his arm's a cannon. Like the guy is electricity. So it's just good to have him back on the field.
It is. He takes 4 or 5 strides in between base pass, and he's there. And yeah, it's happened a lot with these guys with a speed like that. Like Wander trying to deke him and say go home. As soon as he gets on his heels, he's gone. And to make a throw, and it's only I don't know, maybe 110, 120 foot throw, but on your heels when you know the guy's gonna be. I mean, he's lightning quick, so you have to be fast the ball or make an accurate throw, and you just didn't. That's the pressure that I'm talking about that's back in baseball, which I think is really cool.
I mean, it looks like Little League. Tatis turns and looks like it's his buddy who's picking up the ball, and he's like, you know what? Screw him. I'll just score. And he does, and you don't see that on a Major League Baseball field.
This is as well as a fun series. Like McClanahan does this thing in game 1, the best to ever do it, homers, and then you're like, okay, here are the Rays. This is what they do. They get pitching, they can hit, they can do all sorts of things. And then Padres storm back and they win the next 2. It's awesome, man. This is good baseball. And the Padres in June, 7 of the last 10-6. They're coming.
Snell content coming later. Dbacks take 2 of 3 from the Guardians. That's obvious. Zach Gallen.
You're not on the Guardians? You off them?
I'm not on anyone in either Central.
Oh, come on.
Trev,
Sellers, by the way, could be.
I said it, I think 3 episodes ago. I was like, since he can't win the Central, they absolutely can.
So are you off of Cincy? Because you just said you're not on anyone in the Central. We're going to talk about Cincinnati next, and you're going to say, "Oh, I'm on Cincy." So don't contradict yourself, bro.
I don't look at either Central division right now, and I say that team's going to win the division.
Okay.
I'm just not, and that's where dude. I mean, Cubs have a hot week. They're involved in the Central, and they're not selling. They're 4 games back of first place. So that's where I realize stuff will happen before the trade deadline. And, a month from now, post All-Star game, live event in Seattle, come touch Trevor's face. Stay away from Olivia. You can touch just once.
There's a link in the description.
After that, it's going to cost you. You're going to get a serious knuckle sandwich if you do that.
What is wrong with you, bro?
I don't. It's there's some rooted stuff.
Okay.
I have no confidence in any Central teams. None.
Okay. Shout out Zach Gallen, who is quickly becoming one of my favorite players in the big leagues because, well, he's good, and I follow him on Instagram. And Evan Longoria has been singing his praises to me under the radar and telling me he's like a guy, like a stud.
Yes.
He's wearing a snakeskin belt, which was hot. He's the man. On that, Tommy Henry, what arm does he throw with?
I thought he was both, right? Isn't he like that pitcher that unknown? Isn't he unknown?
The
big lefty from Michigan, Trev?
Great start by him. Bounce back starts. That's how this Diamondbacks can get it done, man. Good starts, and they it's a good brand of baseball that they play. I really, really enjoy watching them play. It's tough for the Guardians. McKenzie, elbow discomfort.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Scratched.
That changes this whole series because Touki Toussaint flies on a plane just to get the spot start in this game, and he doesn't have his best day at the office. And yeah, man, Jake McCarthy got. He was one of the young baby snake outfielders before the start of the season, had a really rough go. Since he's been called up, he's looked a lot better. Talk about another guy that applies pressure. That guy will steal a bag at any point. And yeah, him and Corbin Carroll, they homer in the 8th. The team just put so much pressure on you, man, that that's why they're winning a ton of ball games. Jake McCarthy's
going off.
12 stolen bases for Jake McCarthy since May 26th.
Nice. I've been hearing about Geraldo at short, and we talk about him and we see the stats and stuff. I did not know he was a 400 OBP guy.
He's been going nuts.
That's awesome. You know how I feel about guys that have 400 OBPs. Those are my guys.
I do. Bo Naylor gets called up, plays catcher. Naylor brothers on Cleveland. That's just cool. What else was I going to say? Oh, Josh Naylor. His numbers are getting, I think, most RBI by a Cleveland first baseman at this point in the season other than Jim Thome. Your guy. How is Jim?
He's doing great. I haven't talked to him. Let's see. Last time I talked to him, I'm on a group text with a bunch of old Twins legends. So I think maybe we cross paths in there. I used to see him at Pepperdine University just randomly all the time. But I got to be honest, I haven't talked to him in a while. Miss him. If we did see each other, big bear hug.
Yeah.
Jimbo, love him.
I want him to crack my back. Trev, you mentioned them. And you're going to say, Jake, you're buying it. You love this team. I love the vibes. The Cincinnati Reds sweep the Houston Astros.
Okay.
The Reds are a half game back of the NL Central lead. Astros are now in I don't know. They joined that Dodgers conversation. They joined the Yankees conversation. They're missing Yordong. Like, he's a big part of it. McCullers out for the year. Sure, everyone's got it. Two ships passing in the night here a little bit, Trev.
Whoa. What does that mean?
The Reds are heading downstream and feeling good, and it feels like the Astros are treading water right now.
Okay. This is a great series for the Reds. I mean, first game, close game, both pitchers deal. Abbott, the lefty, has been incredible for them. So, you get these guys to come up and they have performances like he's had. That's obviously how you sustain the winning that they've been able to do. JP France looked really good for the Astros, but Stevenson hits a homer. Kevin Newman hits a double, and you win the first game. No problem. It's a good, solid baseball game. Great first victory in a series in Houston. And then the next game, you kind of go off. The offense goes off. Hunter Green does his thing, 6 innings pitched, 2 earned runs. What I liked, because I like this. Our guy, Will Benson, you mentioned him. He's on third base. Kurt Casale squeezes him in. Kurt Casale's not a bat first catcher. We know that. He understands the assignment. He's like, I don't want to strike out. Executed the perfect squeeze, and they have he doesn't even make it down the first base. I don't know who was pitching at the time. I'll say it was Belak. They kind of have that hey, I'm not going to run, just tag me thing. I just like that. They scored 4 in the 9th to kind of put the game away, which is another way to, that's what you want to do as a team. Continue to score. You go up and, I think they were up at that point 6-3, but you go and just put the game to bed with 4 in the 9th. Awesome. And then in the last game, I mean, there was a bunch of weird stuff going on here. Bregman had the Little League homer. Will Benson's just a wild man on the field, dives misses it, and India gets the ball in and throws it into the stands. I don't know what happened there. So Little League homer. And then Jake Fraley in left like fell over. Like I don't know what was going on with the Cincinnati outfield in this game. But then this is when De La Cruz hits the ground ball to Abreu and beats it out.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't like yeah, he had to go down and like wasn't like straight at the first baseman, but it was at the first baseman.
Yeah.
And he beats it out. Speed's killer. India has the go-ahead homer in the 8th, and then McCormick ties it up in the 9th, and then they score, and the Astros can't.
Trev, can I tell you? I'm going to ask you a little Talkin' Baseball trivia question. See if you pay attention when I talk. Why do I like the Baltimore Orioles this year?
Why do you like the Baltimore Orioles this year?
What are the 2 things they do that I think makes them a problem?
I don't know. You got me confused right now.
BBD?
Is one of the things that they don't care.
Ooh, that would have worked. It wasn't what I was going for.
Okay.
It's everyone at home got it. Their lineup is relentless.
Oh, length. Nice.
And their bullpen. And these Cincinnati Reds have put that together. On the season now, they're 6th in on-base percentage. The Cincinnati Reds on the season. That's not butter knifing since they've started playing a better brand of baseball. That's on the season. They're 2nd in stolen bases. And this bullpen, Alexis Diaz. Okay, you're probably familiar with him. 18 for 18 in save opportunities this year. And they even started pushing his limits a little bit. I think he had like 5 appearances in 7 days, which they've been very careful with him. Lucas Sims, Buck Farmer, Gibao, Alex Young, not your go-to names for lights out bullpen. They've been getting it done this year. And guess what? If you get efforts from your bullpen and your lineup's relentless and you stay in games, you give yourself a chance. And that's all they've been doing, and they've been winning ball games.
Are they aggressive at the trade deadline in trying to procure or secure, don't know the word, a starting pitcher? Like the overall stats for their starters are not good.
Right.
Abbott's come up and done a great job. Hunter Green can no-hit you on any given night. Ben Lively's been all right for them. Ups and downs, if you will. Like what the other guys, I mean, Ashcraft, not great. Luke Weaver, not great. These are the guys that have made a bulk of the starts for them. Right. What do they do? Are there I don't know. I don't know the farm system. Are the prospects waiting to be called up, or do you have to go get somebody? Because you can't do this in this season. Get to the top of the NL Central, which they're almost at, and then just sit idly.
You'd love to bring in, I don't know, man, even like a flyer piece, like an MLB flyer piece, like someone like a Trevor Williams. Like, just in case someone gets hurt and you need a guy that can hopefully give you 5 innings every 5th day. Like, I'd like something like that for them. Just because, before that Abbott start, I think they went 9 straight games without a quality start. But guess what? They were still winning those games. So, like, I think. But now we're talking about the Cincinnati Reds adding at the deadline. Fuck, man. You worried about Houston?
No. I think, get to the dance. And Jordan being out, I mean, you just talked how big of, Judge being gone hurts. I mean,
same.
Jordan being gone really, really hurts them. So, but we are seeing a shift in the big leagues. A lot of teams graduating these excellent farm systems like the Reds. I mean, they brought up like 4 of they had like 6 prospects in the top 100. They brought up 4 of them this year, and they're all going off.
Yeah.
But I'm not worried about Houston, and I'm not worried about the Dodgers, to be honest with you. Like, these teams organizationally are so good. Like, they'll figure things out, do what they have to do because they are good organizations.
Jordan, man. They miss him. Go Reds, go. Are you still not calling them America's team?
Well, it's in jest. Like they're just like messing around with it. So I'm kind of on it. Like if you're just messing around and calling yourself America's team, I get it. If you're like being serious about it, I don't like it. Silly, but they're just messing around. So I don't really care. I still don't like the Viking helmet. Still don't.
It's a lot cooler when you're winning. I'll say that much.
That's true. And Jonathan India's hot, and Jimmy O'Brien doesn't know what the hell he's talking about.
India's hot. Not Jimmy's type. Trev, these
other dudes.
These final two in the IL. We get it shaken, get you to Chris Rose. Cubs-Orioles series. And Philly sweeps Oakland, which it looks like Oakland's kind of being back to Oakland a little bit, but the Phillies are also back to being Philly, which we talked about a couple episodes, and they've gone and they're sitting a lot better than where they were a couple weeks ago because those guys in the lineup clicked. The pitching gave them help. And dude, Cubs, the more you dive into the Cubs, it's a pretty weird mental exercise, man, because they got some good numbers, and that Central ain't it.
Yeah, that's the thing though. Is the Central's being just wide open kind of changes everything. I expected them to be sellers, but I mean, you're right. If they just go out and have a great 2 weeks, they can't.
Dude, if they play like 500 ball till the trade deadline, I don't think they sell.
You can't be 5 games under at the trade deadline and buy. Sorry. Like they have to go off. I get they're only 4 games back. I understand that. But that's your one shot. They're not going to get a wild card. So your one shot's winning the division. And you'd like to, they have to jump 3 teams to do that. When you think about it that way, it's more of a hurdle than just the 4 games.
Know who's been a little shot of life for the Chicago Cubs? Mike Tauchman. Mike Tauchman did a year across the pond. Has come
Max
back.
Manus' favorite player, right?
Tom Prizeman. Tom Prizeman. Compound. Now Ian Happ's outfield.
Who's Max Manus' player? Is it Conforto? He's got a guy
Max
like that
Manus'
too.
Player.
He just loves baseball.
He just loves all of them.
I love Max Manus.
Nico Horner back, which he's an important part of that team. I don't know, man. I like to write the Cubbies off when Stroman, Steele, Hendricks. I don't know. Adbert Alzolay, baby.
They have players, 100%. Like there's a chance that they can run things here and they can go do whatever. I don't know, man.
I don't know.
These divisions being up for grabs the way they are, it's not a typical baseball discussion, essentially. And it really is going to come down to, okay, we're June 19th right now. So in a month, like all this stuff is going to get it figured out in a month. Like if I'm on those teams, I would say, hey, guys, if I'm on the Cubs, this is what happens. I call everyone together. First, I say, hey, what's up, guys? Congratulations on all your success. Your big leaguers love you. High fives. Okay. That's how I start my meetings all the time.
Nice.
A little bit of taster. And then I say, hey, for real, guys, we have to go in the next 4 weeks. We have to win series and we have to sweep series. We have to force the hand of the front office so we can go and either stay together or add. If we don't, and we just play 500 ball, like that dummy Jake Storielli said, we're not going to be together. This team's going to get broken up, and the last 2 months of the season are going to suck. So you got to just rally around that fact and try to go. But a lot of those teams in those divisions are going to have the same exact discussion.
There's one NL Central team with a positive run differential. It is your Chicago Cubs.
Like that.
Interesting. Any thoughts on the Phillies, Trev? Winners of 6 straight. Again, hey, you took care of Oakland, which, hey, a week ago, nobody was taking care of Oakland, so good on you. They have a big Braves series coming up. Braves and the Mets. Yeah.
I'm looking at Taijuan Walker. Like he's been,
yes,
he's kind of been going off as of late. Sheesh. He has a couple bad starts. He has a bad start against the Dodgers, went 3 1/3 with 8 earned runs. But last June 6th, 7 innings pitched, no earned runs. June 11th, 5 innings pitched against the Dodgers, no earned runs. And then this one against Oakland, 8 innings pitched with 1 earned run. He's been looking nasty. He's kind of feeling himself. I follow him on social media, and he's like doing his thing. Like that's having a 1-2-3 punch is. The Phillies are good, man.
It's a sick sport, man. May 17th, he goes 0.2 innings against the Giants. Can't make it out of the first. 6.53 ERA. Oh, boy. What's going on with Taijuan Walker? 6 starts, a 1.75 since then. And he turned it on. And Ranger Suarez has turned it on.
Yeah,
and Schwarber's turned it on. And guess what? Like, those are them Phils. Those are the Phillies that went to the World Series last year. And you know I'm a Dabrowski stan.
And Turner, his overall numbers aren't good, but I think he's been going off as of late too. Let me check this out. Before we go. Oh my gosh, we have to go so fast.
Standout performances.
Standout performances
brought to you by the Farmer's Dog.
Oh, my mom loves this stuff. She keeps asking me like, "Hey, like I need your code." Mom,
we just
listen to the show.
Yeah. Tune in, Mom. Hey, it's not Mother's Day, it's Father's Day, Mom.
Yeah, figure it out.
I have a dog, Noodle. We went on the train this weekend. Went out to Long Island. A little pool day. He was swimming. Good time. He was hungry. Came back, jacked up some farmer's dog. Whether you got a puppy, an older dog, a medium dog, big, small, they get the right dog. They get the right food for your dog even. How about that? It doesn't matter if your dog is young or old. It's always the right time to invest in their health. And you'll get 50% off your first box at thefarmersdog.com/JohnBoy. Listen, Trev's mom, thefarmersdog.com/JohnBoy.
That's a great 50% off your first box?
50% off your first box. And there's a lot of food in that box. And there's a link in the description. Your dog will like it. Standout performances.
I am going with my guy, Justin Turner. He had 2 homers, a double, 6 RBI. He scored 3 runs. Went 3 for 5 in that game against your Yanks. And anytime you have over 4 RBI, it's a great day. 6? That's like a week in one day's work. I think this guy's a phenomenal baseball player. I like when he does well. So that's my stand-up performance.
It's fun to watch hit, man. He really is.
He like turned himself into a really good baseball player by making mechanical adjustments. And I love that.
Since basically the first week and a half of April where he got off to a bad start, 291, 357, 842 OPS. Just a really fun at bat to watch. Like, looks like when he's locked in, it looks like he can't be beat or fooled. And yeah, the red at Fenway, it's all a beautiful thing. And we love seeing a veteran, 38 years old, 39 in November, still getting it done. Older than Josh Donaldson. How about that? My standout is going to Nolan Arenado in that Mets Cardinals final game, dumpster fire weekend. I think that was the theme of the weekend over there. He hits his second homer of the game to win it. And Trev, the reason I picked him, and yes, every Brave player could have been picked for this. Late night Lamont, big Taijuan Walker. There's a lot of options per usual. Corey Seager every game. Watch the second homer that Nolan Arenado hits, because where we left off, Nolan Arenado, press conference, telling the media, we're not executing. We're not getting it done. This isn't it. Not happy. Doesn't want to be talking to the media. Wants to be talking baseball. When he rounds first and that ball gets out of the park, Nolan Arenado lets out a whoo! That I don't know if it changes things, because I don't know if you can change the things that are going on there right now. But man, just that feeling for Nolan Arenado, I could feel it. I could feel it in my core. It's worth watching. So I like the fact that he was in front of the press, eating it, taking it all on, and he ends up winning a rubber match on a Sunday that, would just have us digging and burying the Cardinals further. So I was happy for Nolan. So he gets my standout.
Yeah, his overall numbers on the year, got the 815 OPS, 1 WAR. A lot of it's defensive related because he gets a lot of WAR from defense. How much you want to bet this dude ends up with a positive defensive WAR and his defensive run save turn around and he becomes a stud because he's going to figure things out, whether that's positioning, he's going to take it upon himself to figure that out. I love watching Nolan Arenado play baseball. I'm a third baseman. He's a third baseman.
Right.
He's a guy that, how can you not love watching him play? Like you mentioned, the intensity. Do you remember when he had the bloody eye or whatever it was, and he was screaming? Same vibes there. Love that.
I won't bet against Arenado. Can you tell me who's on fire?
Dirt Nasty's on Fuego. That means I'm on fire, baby. Like Waco.
I don't know why I have a piece of chalk back here. Why? For the series, Eddie Rosario, 6 for 10, 4 homers against Colorado, 10 ribbies for a 2.4 OPS. That's good. You like that. Brandon Drury, mentioned him, had a great series, 6 for 13 with a double, 2 homers and 6 RBIs. Justin Turner, just talked about him, 5 for 14, 2 doubles, 2 homers, 7 ribbies. For the week of 6/12 through 6/18, Christian Walker. I feel like we never talk about him when we talk about the Snakes. We talk about Corbin Carroll, Perdomo, some of the pitchers.
Yeah.
Lourdes Gurriel Jr. No, Christian Walker, 11 for 26, 4 doubles, 3 homers, 10 RBIs for a 1.4. Your guy for the Cubs, Chris Morel, 9 for 21, a double, a triple, 3 homers, and 10 RBIs. He ranks first in slugging percentage and third in OPS among MLB hitters with at least 100 plate appearances this season. Holy crap, I didn't know that.
And that was coming off of a slump. He came in hot. He had a really bad slump, and now he's back.
I like this one. Andy Ibanez for the Detroit Tigers, 10 for 22, 3 doubles, 2 homers, only 3 ribbies. Get some guys on base for this guy. 6 runs scored for a 1.3 for 2 weeks from June 5th through June 18th. Taijuan Walker, we just talked about him. He's the man. 3-0, 20 innings pitched, only 11 hits and 1 earned run. That is how you get it done. Arenado, 16 for 48, 3 doubles, 1 triple, 5 homers for a 1.1. His 23rd career multi-homer game was on Sunday. And then how about this? You talked about Texas bullpen. I'm going to mess this one up. Not in my book. Josh Sborz. He pitched in 5 games over those 2 weeks. 8 2/3 innings pitched. Only 2 hits. No earned runs. 11 Ks and 2 walks for a .46 whip. Yikes. And that's Susan Fuego.
It's beautiful, Trev. Think you nailed Spores. How about that? Only might be one show in the love where might show in the world where he's getting the love. I've been crossfiring all day.
You know where he originated? Dodgers.
Spores?
Dodgers.
Max Muncy's on the IL.
Yeah.
Gio Urshela, Mike Clevenger, Edward Cabrera, Tristan McKenzie, Patrick Wisdom, your doppelganger, Alex Cobb, Tanner Houck, Jorge Lopez in that Twins bullpen. I hate it. Who came back? Nick Senzel, Alex Wood, Wade Miley, Justin Steele, Pete Alonso, Quick Healing, and Rake Fraley, which brings us to
awards.
We can begin the week, Trev.
So I'm giving the catcher in the Rye Award, and I'm sure I've read this book at some point. Don't remember anything about it. Is there even a catcher in it? Is it about baseball?
It's a baseball book. Is. Yes.
It's not, though.
I think it's the story of Mike Piazza.
Okay.
Yeah.
I did a quick little research on it. Like this guy has like a baseball glove that's like the wrong hand. Beavers, are you in on this? I feel like you're one of those guys that would know about catcher in the Rye.
JD Salinger and I went to the same college, and then he dropped out and wrote a book about a school full of phonies, which is Catcher in the Rye. So, so you know, that could be anything.
It hits a little different. Okay.
I didn't read any of these.
Yeah, the classics you're supposed to read. You know, we did the Spark
I was
Notes
assigned
thing.
it in
Yeah,
school,
it was just Spark
sure.
Notes.
we're not. This doesn't sound good.
I mean, nobody had time.
We're not bragging about this. This is actually embarrassing.
I don't feel good about it.
Is it a good book? It could be a bad book.
It kind of sucks.
I got a whole speech on books and why some are popular and some aren't. Okay, whatever. My words about catchers. This has nothing to do with this book at all. I just didn't have a good name for it. Catchers.
They had a good sandwich.
We talk about the game and what's different about the game. We talk about speed and athleticism, and that's how you're going to get a leg up in today's game. I think the biggest differential, I don't even know what word I'm looking for there. The thing that can separate you most in the big leagues, and you see it all around the league right now, is a good catcher. And I'm not talking about a guy that's good framing the ball or a guy that sucks at framing the ball and that can hit. Or I guess I am kind of talking about that. You got to rake as a catcher. And if you have one of those catchers on your team, a guy that rakes, you're probably going to go to the playoffs. Think about what's going on around the league right now. I have Fangraphs open right now, and I have WOBA highlighted for catchers, okay? Sean Murphy, number 1. They're in the playoffs. Will Smith, number 2. They're in the playoffs. Okay. Patrick Bailey has come up, taken over the starting job in San Francisco. They're in the playoffs. Adley Rutschman, they're in the playoffs. Chad Wallach for the Angels. They're in the playoffs. Now, Elias Diaz, they're not going to be in the playoffs, but great season, kid. Jonah Heim for Texas, they're in the playoffs. Matt Tice, another Angel catcher. So 2 Angels catchers in the top 12 for WOBA. William Contreras, Milwaukee. They're about to be in the playoffs, or like they're in the division. They're in the playoffs.
They're in.
Travis d'Arnaud, another one. JT Ruomoto. Like, it's like a tight end, a top tier tight end in fantasy football. If you have one, it could separate you from the pack. Henry Davis coming up for the Pirates. Are they seeing this and saying, let's get an offensive catcher up here, because if we have it, it's such an advantage? This shocked me. You think about the catching position, and every organization says, we just want a guy that can handle the pitching staff, and we don't worry about hitting. That's secondary. Bullshit, dude. Like, go get you someone that can do both, or go get you one that can mash, because I'm looking right now at the WOBA leaders at the catching position, and all those teams are in the playoffs. So maybe we need to rethink this thing around the league. Go get you someone that can bang, score runs, drive in runs. Like, you can figure out the catching part of it. And, some of these guys are excellent defensive catchers as well. Try to get you one that can do both. How about that? Like, there should be more of an emphasis on, like, offensive-minded catchers, because look what it gets you, man. Like, it was shocking to me to see all this, because I didn't. You think some guys, hey, we need someone that can handle the pitching staff, and that's more important. Bullshit. Go get you an offensive-minded catcher. Catcher in the Rye Award goes to all these dudes that are raking behind the plate. It's not easy to do that. That's why it's, not every team can have one, because it's such a daunting, physically demanding position. But it was shocking to me to see this, so I wanted to highlight it.
Trev, I talked about it, I think, early on this season with Adley Rutschman. Like, it's a game changer, and I don't think we've quantified it properly. The guys who's calling the pitches, that matters. The pitch framing, that matters. Adding length to the lineup, whether you're a top contributor or even towards the middle. Like, there's a couple teams out there that have gone full pitch framing because they were like, we can't get offensive production from the catcher spot, so let's boost our pitching staff and make sure we at least get that. But if you leave a hole in your lineup, and it's everything I've been beating the drum on for a while now, well, guess what? You're going to have another guy who's slumping. You'll have another guy who's hurt. Then now you have a bad second half of your lineup, kind of willingly. That, yeah, man, the catcher position I don't think has been quantified properly through WAR and a lot of the metrics we've begun to measure baseball with. And I hope catchers have a big comeback, because it's the most important position. It's why the managers are catchers. Some.
Joe Ray can be a catcher. You can make a lot of money too.
Trev, great award. I am giving out the halftime speech award. Trev, I love this guy. Again, early episode of Chris Rose Rotation. Your Instagram Lives, which is where we started this episode today. Blake Snell is on a heater. And, tell me if you've heard that before. Like, Snell, he's got a Cy Young in the bag. It's why I took him in the Cy Young draft. I was being kind of cute because there were other options. Zach Gallen. Probably should have taken him over a couple other guys. Blake Snell's having a hot streak, and you're like, okay, that's cool. A lot of pitchers do that. In his last 4 starts, Blake Snell has given up 1 earned run. 25 innings. That's a 0.36 ERA. Why is that significant? Blake Snell has been significantly better in the second half his entire career. Every year, every single season Blake Snell has played baseball, he has been better in the second half. And his career stats back it up too, because, that's basically what I just said. In his career, Blake Snell, in the first half of the season, he has a 3.97 ERA. In the second half of the season, a 2.68. Go into his game logs. Every year, he did it last year with the Padres. He did it with the Rays. In his Cy Young season, he went from the year he won the Cy Young, he was a 2.7-something ERA in the first half, which you're like, oh, that's great. And then he was a 1.11 in the final 9 the rest of the way. Whatever it is, whether it's mechanical, whether it's getting his body right, second half for players can mean a couple different things. Whatever it is, Snell is about that life. And the fact that he's already going, if he stays healthy and he's out there for Padres fans, I think he's going to end up putting up massive numbers this season. So Blake Snell, go, if you're a baseball reference, click through his years and see that he's literally better like each month and each second half as he goes. And he's already going, which could mean he's in line for a big year, his free agent year, by the way.
He's a stud. He's like out playing golf with all these basketball players. Not a great swing, Snell. I love you, bro.
No.
Work on that a little bit. But last 4 starts, 25 innings pitched, 1 earned run, 39 Ks for a .36, a 388 OPS against him. He's a stud. An absolute stud and a great guy. And the only guy that I ever want to hear mic'd up. The rest of you guys stink. Compared to Blake Snell, the rest of you stink. I'm sorry.
Trevor Plouffe has swag. End the episode. Go listen to Trevor Plouffe on Baseball Today with Chris Rose.
Some are saying it's the best show ever.
You're a grinder, huh?
Jake sucks. That's all I hear when I go places nowadays. It's ridiculous. I told you I don't like people knowing me so much, but every time, Coach Trev, Jake sucks.
I had a big city day yesterday. Got a lot of Jakey love. Cool guy skateboarding past me. I love you, dude.